The warehouse smelled of rust and gasoline. Amara pressed her back against the cold metal wall, heart hammering as footsteps echoed somewhere in the darkness. Joon-seok's hand gripped hers tightly, the only warmth in the freezing space. "How many?" she whispered. "Too many," he replied, voice low. "But they don't know we're here yet." They had abandoned the safe house an hour ago, slipping through back alleys and side streets until reaching this forgotten industrial district. Joon-seok's remaining loyal men were scattered across the city, some dead, some hiding, all waiting for orders that might never come. The attack that killed his uncle had fractured everything. Power vacuums didn't stay empty long in their world. Already, vultures were circling. "Your father," Joon-seok said suddenly. "Does he know you're with me?" Amara's jaw tightened. "Probably. He has eyes everywhere. Then he'll come for you." "Let him," she said bitterly. "I'm done being his pawn." Joon-seok studied her face in the dim light. "You say that now. But when he arrives with armed men and promises of safety—" "I chose you," she interrupted fiercely. "Back at the safe house. I'm not changing my mind." Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise. Gratitude. Fear. "You don't know what that costs," he said quietly. "Then show me." Before he could respond, his phone vibrated. He checked it, expression darkening. "What?" Amara demanded. Message from someone claiming to have information. About who orchestrated tonight. "A trap. Probably." He typed quickly. "But we're out of options." The response came instantly. "Pier 7. 1 hour. Come alone or she dies." Amara read over his shoulder. "They know I'm with you." "Everyone knows by now," Joon-seok said grimly. "Our families. Our enemies. The whole underworld is watching." She grabbed his arm. "Then we use that." He frowned. "What?" "Everyone's watching, right? Waiting to see what happens." Her mind raced. "What if we give them a show?" "Amara. Listen," she said urgently. "Your uncle died because someone wanted chaos. My family's been trying to merge operations with yours for years. What if we announce we're going through with it?" "The marriage." He shook his head. "That solves nothing. They'll still kill us. Not if we make ourselves more valuable alive than dead." Joon-seok went still, understanding dawning. "You want to propose a truce," he said slowly. "A real one. Not just a truce. A complete merger. Your empire and mine. No more rival families. One unified syndicate." "They'll never agree." "They will if we force their hand." She stepped closer. "Think about it. Right now, everyone's fighting for scraps. But if we consolidate power, there's more profit for everyone. We make them choose peace and prosperity, or endless war with no winners." Joon-seok stared at her. "You're talking about reshaping the entire criminal infrastructure of Seoul." "I'm talking about surviving," she corrected. "And maybe building something that doesn't require blind dates at gunpoint." A bitter smile crossed his face. "You're either brilliant or insane. Can't I be both?" He laughed despite everything. "Yes. Apparently." His phone buzzed again. Another message. "Time's running out." Joon-seok made a decision. "We go to the pier," he said. "But not alone. I'm calling everyone. Everyone. Every family head. Every lieutenant. Every player in this game." His eyes hardened with determination. "If we're doing this, we do it publicly. No more shadows. No more secrets." Amara nodded. "And if they refuse? Then we fight until there's nothing left to fight for." She took his hand. "Together. Together," he confirmed. They moved through the warehouse quickly, emerging into the rain-soaked night. Joon-seok made calls as they walked, his voice sharp and commanding. "Pier 7. 1 hour. Everyone. Non-negotiable." Each call met with protests, questions, threats. He ignored them all. By the time they reached his car, word was spreading like wildfire. "They'll think we're surrendering," Amara said as they drove. "Good," Joon-seok replied. "Let them think that. Fear makes people careless." The city blurred past. Rain hammered the windshield. Amara watched Joon-seok's profile, sharp jawline, focused eyes, hands steady on the wheel despite the chaos surrounding them. This man who'd stopped for a stranger on the highway. This man who'd chosen protection over profit. "Can I ask you something?" she said quietly. "Yes." "Why did you really stop? On the road, I mean." He was silent for a long moment. "Because you looked angry," he said finally. "Not scared. Not helpless. Angry." He glanced at her. "And I thought, that's someone who fights." Her throat tightened. "I do fight." "I know," he said. "That's why you're still here." They pulled up to the pier. Dozens of cars already lined the waterfront. Dark figures moved in the shadows, weapons barely concealed. "Last chance to run," Joon-seok said. Amara opened her door. "Not a chance." They stepped out together and walked straight into the lion's den. The crowd parted as they approached. Amara counted at least 50 armed men, maybe more hidden in the darkness. Every major player in Seoul's underworld had answered the summons, drawn by curiosity or bloodlust or the simple need to witness history. Her father stood at the center, flanked by his lieutenants. Their eyes met. "Amara," he said coldly. "You disappoint me." "That's nothing new," she replied, voice steady despite her racing heart. Joon-seok moved slightly ahead of her, not possessive, protective. His hand rested near his concealed weapon. "Kong Joon-seok," another voice called out. An older man with silver hair and cruel eyes stepped forward. "You summoned us like servants. Explain yourself before I put a bullet between your eyes." "Try it, Park," Joon-seok said calmly. "See how many of you leave alive." Tension crackled. Someone laughed nervously. "Enough posturing," Amara's father snapped. "Why are we here?" Joon-seok's voice cut through the night like a blade. "Because this ends tonight." Silence fell. "My uncle is dead," he continued. "Murdered to spark a war that benefits no one except arms dealers and corpse collectors. You all know it's true." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "The Okoye family and the Kong family have been circling each other for years," Joon-seok said. "Trading blows. Stealing territory. Bleeding resources. For what? Pride. Tradition." He shook his head. "There's no profit in corpses. So you propose what?" Park demanded. "Surrender." "Partnership," Amara said, stepping forward. All eyes turned to her. "My father wanted this marriage to secure access to Kong resources," she continued. Joon-seok's uncle wanted it to legitimize offshore operations. Both sides saw it as conquest disguised as alliance. Her father's expression darkened. "Watch your tongue, girl." "I'm done watching anything," she shot back. "I'm done being your bargaining chip. I'm done with blind dates and bulletproof cars and wondering which family member will betray me next." "Then what do you want?" someone shouted. "I want peace," she said simply. "Real peace. Not a ceasefire. Not a truce. An actual merger." The crowd erupted in shouts. "Impossible. They'll destroy us from within. This is madness." Joon-seok raised his hand. The noise died down. "Listen," he said. "Every year, we lose millions to internal conflicts, territory disputes, supply chain disruptions, law enforcement picking off weak links." He paused. "But if we consolidate, if we present a united front, we become untouchable." "You mean you become untouchable?" Park sneered. "With the Kong and Okoye fortunes combined." "No," Amara said. "We mean everyone profits. Equal distribution. Shared territory. Collaborative operations. You expect us to trust you, another voice called. I expect you to trust greed, Joon-seok replied bluntly. There's more money in cooperation than competition. We're offering you a seat at the table instead of a grave in the ground. Her father stepped forward. And if we refuse? Joon-seok met his gaze. Then you fight each other until there's nothing left. And when the dust settles, whoever survives will face foreign syndicates moving into the power vacuum. Russians. Yakuza. Triads. He let that sink in. They're already watching. Waiting. Fear flickered across faces. But together, Amara added, we're strong enough to keep them out. Strong enough to control our own destiny. Silence stretched. Then Park laughed harshly. And what guarantee do we have that you won't seize power the moment we agree? This, Joon-seok said. He pulled out a document. A contract, he explained. Legal and binding. Every family gets representation. Every operation requires majority approval. Any betrayal results in immediate forfeiture of assets and territory. You'd actually limit your own power? Someone asked skeptically. Yes, Joon-seok said. Because unlimited power is what got my uncle killed. Amara's father studied them both. You're serious? Completely, Amara confirmed. He turned to his lieutenants, speaking in low tones. Other family heads did the same, clusters forming as debates erupted. Joon-seok leaned close to Amara. This could still go wrong. I know, she whispered. But at least we tried something different. Minutes crawled past. Finally, her father raised his hand. I have conditions, he announced. Name them, Joon-seok said. First, you marry my daughter. Publicly. Legitimately. This alliance is sealed in blood and law. Amara's stomach dropped. Joon-seok glanced at her. She gave a tiny nod. Agreed, he said. Second, all territorial disputes are resolved by neutral arbitration. No exceptions. Agreed. Third, her father's eyes hardened. You find who killed Kang's uncle and deliver them to us. We handle justice together. Joon-seok hesitated only a second. Agreed. Park stepped forward. I want oversight of financial operations. No hidden accounts. Agreed, Amara said. With full transparency for all families. One by one, the other heads voiced conditions. Each time, Joon-seok and Amara negotiated, compromised, conceded. Finally, as dawn began to break, her father spoke again. Then we have accord. He extended his hand. Let it be witnessed, the Okoye and Kong families unite. Joon-seok shook his hand firmly. The crowd erupted, not in violence, but in cautious, incredulous celebration. Amara sagged with relief. They'd done it. Actually done it. But as people began to disperse, a single gunshot cracked through the air. Everyone froze. A man stumbled forward, one of Park's lieutenants, blood spreading across his chest. He collapsed. Behind him stood a figure in black, weapon raised. No accord, the figure said coldly. Chaos exploded. Gunfire erupted instantly. Joon-seok tackled Amara to the ground as bullets tore through the air. Bodies scattered, some running, others returning fire into the darkness where the shooter had vanished. Stay down, Joon-seok yelled. Who was that? Amara gasped. I don't know, but that was a lie. He'd recognized the voice. His blood ran cold. Everyone stop, her father roared. Hold your fire. Slowly, the shooting ceased. Smoke hung in the air. Park knelt beside his fallen lieutenant, face twisted with rage. This is your doing, Kong, he snarled. No, Joon-seok said, standing. This is someone trying to destroy what we just built. Convenient timing, Park spat. The moment we agree to peace, your people attack. That wasn't my people, Joon-seok said firmly. Then whose? Amara's father demanded. Joon-seok's jaw tightened. He didn't want to say it. Didn't want to believe it. But he knew. My cousin, he said quietly. Jin-ho. Shocked silence. Your own family? Park said incredulously. He was my uncle's right hand, Joon-seok explained. When my uncle died, he expected to inherit everything. But tonight, he gestured to the gathered families. Tonight, I gave that power away. Understanding dawned on faces. He wants war, Amara said. Because war makes him necessary. Exactly, Joon-seok confirmed. Peace means he loses everything. Then we hunt him, her father said coldly. Now. Wait, Amara interjected. If we scatter looking for him, we're vulnerable. He'll pick us off one by one. So what do you propose? Park asked skeptically. She looked at Joon-seok. We use me. No, he said immediately. Listen, she pressed. He's targeting our alliance, right? What better way to destroy it than killing me? Making it look like your family did it. Absolutely not, Joon-seok said firmly. She's right, her father said reluctantly. It's the logical move. I don't care, Joon-seok snapped. I'm not using her as bait. Amara grabbed his arm. You don't get to decide this for me. Their eyes locked. You'll die, he said quietly. Not if you protect me, she replied. Like you promised. His expression cracked. Amara. Trust me, she whispered. Please. He closed his eyes briefly, then nodded. Fine, he said hoarsely. But we do this my way. They planned quickly. Amara would return to her family's estate, publicly, visibly, as if seeking her father's protection. Jin-ho would see it as opportunity, a chance to strike at the alliance's weakest point. But they'd be ready. Joon-seok's best men would be hidden throughout the property. Her father's security would be doubled. And Joon-seok himself would stay close, no matter the risk. If this goes wrong, her father started. It won't, Joon-seok interrupted. I won't let it. Within an hour, they were moving. Amara rode in her father's car, Joon-seok following in his own vehicle with 3 guards. The city was waking up, oblivious to the war being waged in its shadows. You care for him, her father said suddenly. Amara glanced at him, surprised. What? Kong Joon-seok. You care for him. She didn't deny it. Yes. Even though he's dangerous, violent, a criminal. She smiled sadly. You mean like us? Her father's jaw tightened. I wanted better for you. No, she said. You wanted control. There's a difference. He didn't respond. They reached the estate as the sun climbed higher. Armed guards lined the walls. Cameras tracked every angle. Inside, Amara paced the main room, every nerve on edge. Joon-seok entered, gun holstered but visible. He'll come tonight. Darkness is his advantage. How do you know? Because it's what I would do. Hours crawled past. Afternoon faded to evening. Tension wound tighter. Amara couldn't eat. Couldn't rest. She kept checking her phone, the windows, the doors. Joon-seok stayed close, a shadow she'd come to depend on. Tell me something, she said suddenly. Something real. He looked at her. What do you want to know? Do you regret stopping that night? On the highway. He considered the question carefully. No, he said finally. Even with everything that followed. I don't regret it. Why? Because you reminded me, he said quietly, that there's more to life than survival. Her breath caught. Joon-seok. Alarms shrieked. Gunfire exploded outside. He's here, Joon-seok said, drawing his weapon. Stay behind me. They moved quickly through the house. Shouts echoed. Glass shattered. Then silence fell abruptly. Too quiet. Joon-seok's instincts screamed warning. It's a diversion, he realized. He's not outside. The door behind them burst open. Jin-ho stood there, gun raised, smiling coldly. "Hello, cousin," he said. "Miss me?" Before Joon-seok could react, Jin-ho fired. The bullet hit Joon-seok's shoulder, spinning him around. "No!" Amara screamed. Jin-ho turned the gun on her. "You've caused enough trouble, princess." Joon-seok lunged despite his wound, tackling Jin-ho. They crashed to the floor, struggling for the weapon. "You threw it all away." Jin-ho snarled. "For her. For peace. You're weak." "I'm done living in blood," Joon-seok growled, slamming Jin-ho's hand against the floor. The gun skittered away. Jin-ho grabbed a knife. They fought viciously, brutal and desperate. Amara grabbed the fallen gun with shaking hands, trying to aim, but they moved too fast, tangled together. Jin-ho drove the knife toward Joon-seok's chest. Joon-seok caught his wrist, straining. "You'll die eventually," Jin-ho hissed. "They all do. And I'll still be here." "Maybe," Joon-seok said. "But not today." He twisted sharply. The knife turned, plunged into Jin-ho's side. Jin-ho gasped, eyes wide with shock. He collapsed. Joon-seok staggered back, breathing hard, blood soaking his shoulder. Guards rushed in, weapons drawn. "Secure him," Amara's father ordered, arriving with Park and others. They stared at Jin-ho's body. "It's over," Park said quietly. Amara dropped the gun and ran to Joon-seok. "You're hurt," she said, hands fluttering over his wound. "I'm fine," he said hoarsely. "You're not fine. You were shot." "Amara," he said gently, cupping her face. "I'm alive. We're alive." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "You scared me." "I know," he whispered. "I'm sorry." She kissed him then, desperately, fiercely, pouring every emotion into it. He kissed her back, ignoring the pain, the witnesses, everything but her. When they finally pulled apart, her father cleared his throat. "Well," he said awkwardly, "I suppose that settles the marriage question." Despite everything, Amara laughed. Joon-seok smiled, then winced. "Can we handle medical attention first?" "Yes," she said, steadying him. "Yes, we can." As they walked out together, the war finally ended. Not with grand declarations or signed treaties, but with two people choosing each other over everything else. 3 months later, the wedding was nothing like either of them expected. No grand cathedral. No hundreds of guests. Just a simple ceremony in a garden overlooking the city, attended by the people who mattered. Family heads who'd honored the accord, loyal friends who'd survived the chaos, and a handful of faces from their old lives. Amara wore white, not because tradition demanded it, but because she wanted to. Joon-seok wore black, his shoulder fully healed, though sometimes he still felt phantom pain from the bullet. Scars, he'd learned, didn't always fade. "You ready?" her father asked, offering his arm. She took it, surprised by the gesture. "Are you?" He smiled sadly. No parent is ready to lose their daughter, even when she's gained a partner who'd die for her. "He almost did," she reminded him. "I know." He paused. "I was wrong about many things, Amara. About you. About what you needed." His voice softened. "But I was right about one thing. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for." Unexpected emotion tightened her throat. "Thank you." They walked down the aisle together. Joon-seok stood waiting, and when his eyes met hers, the whole world fell away. The ceremony was brief, meaningful. No elaborate vows, just simple promises. "I promise to protect you. I promise to stand with you. I promise honesty. I promise trust." When they kissed, sealing the union, applause erupted. But Amara barely heard it. All she felt was his arms around her, solid and real. At the reception, Park raised his glass. To the couple who rewrote the rules, he toasted. May your enemies fear you and your allies prosper. Laughter and cheers filled the air. Later, as the sun set, Amara and Joon-seok slipped away from the crowd. They stood at the garden's edge, looking out over Seoul's glittering skyline. Do you ever think about that night? She asked quietly. On the highway? Every day, he admitted. What would you have done differently? He considered. Nothing. Because it led here. She leaned against him. We almost died. Multiple times. We did, he agreed. But we didn't. And now? Now, he said, we build something better. The merger is holding. Territory disputes are down. Profits are up. People are starting to believe peace is possible. But. He glanced at her. How did you know there was a but? Because I know you. She turned to face him. What worries you? That I'll fail you, he said honestly. That one day, my world will drag you down and I won't be able to save you. She took his hands. Joon-seok, I didn't marry you because I needed saving. I married you because we save each other. His expression softened. When did you become so wise? Around the time I kicked a tire in the rain and met a stranger who changed everything. He laughed. That stranger was terrified, by the way. Of me. Of what you made me feel. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. I spent years building walls. And you walked right through them in one night. Good, she said. I hate walls. They kissed again, softer this time, full of promise. A phone buzzed. Joon-seok checked it, frowning. What? Amara asked. Report from the harbor. A shipment arrived early. They need approval for distribution. She sighed. Back to work already? The empire doesn't run itself. He typed a quick response. But it can wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow we leave for our honeymoon, she reminded him. Then it can wait until we get back. And where exactly are we going? You still haven't told me. He smiled mysteriously. Somewhere quiet. No syndicates. No territories. No guns. Does such a place exist? For 2 weeks, yes. She raised an eyebrow. You're really going to unplug completely? I'm going to try, he said. For you. Warmth flooded her chest. I love you. The words came easily now, though the first time she'd said them, 2 weeks after Jin-ho's death, while Joon-seok was still recovering, he'd gone completely still, as if he'd never heard them before. Maybe he hadn't. Not like that. I love you too, he replied, pulling her close. They stood there as night fell, two people who'd survived the impossible. Behind them, music drifted from the reception. Laughter. Life. Do you think it'll last? Amara asked. The peace. Honestly. Joon-seok said. I don't know. People are unpredictable. Greedy. Ambitious. So we stay vigilant. We keep our allies close. We honor our agreements. He looked at her. And we remember that together, we're stronger than anything trying to tear us apart. She nodded. Together. Always, he confirmed. A voice called from the party. Joon-seok. Amara. Cake time. They exchanged amused glances. Duty calls, she said. After you, Mrs. Kong. She grinned. I'm keeping Okoye too, you know. Hyphenated. I expected nothing less. They walked back hand in hand, two people who'd met in a storm and forged something unbreakable in fire. The war was over. The blind date that should have been a disaster had become a destiny. And as they cut the cake together, surrounded by former enemies turned allies, Amara thought about the woman she'd been 3 months ago. Frustrated, trapped, kicking a tire in the rain. That woman had no idea what was coming. But this woman? This woman was ready for anything. Beside her, Joon-seok caught her eye and smiled, that rare, genuine smile he reserved only for her. She smiled back. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. Because the deadliest blind date had led to the greatest love. And nothing, absolutely nothing, would take that away. Sometimes the most dangerous roads lead to the safest harbors. Sometimes the person you're meant to meet finds you exactly when you need them most. And sometimes, love doesn't ask permission. It just arrives, unannounced, in the middle of a storm. This is their story. The end of one war. The beginning of forever. If this story moved you, like the video. Subscribe for more cinematic Mafia romances. And comment below. Backhand index pointing right. Would you survive a blind date like this? Because the deadliest blind date didn't destroy them. It saved them.